Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another, I don't even know, freaking awesome day here in the deep woods. Another Minecraft podcast episode, videocast, whatever we're calling that. Anyway, my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm really pumped. I'm in the deep woods right now, and I don't think you can hear it. Maybe you can hear it, I don't know. It's howling on the way in, like where it's not protected, but G and I are far enough back there that the wind is actually really high up, so it's roaring, but I don't think it's disrupting the filming. So anyway, here we go. So with the holidays coming, which are, I want to make sure I'm not, because I'm not into being a Debbie Downer. The holidays have lots of good stuff, obviously, and I love to eat. I also like wine. More importantly, I love my husband's family, which is now my family, my chosen family, and all the friends, and I have wonderful colleagues and all that stuff. That's all good. And we also know it's a big mix, right? Doesn't mean that it's all bad or it's all good. There's a whole middle. There's people who have, a lot of good people, and then some toxics they got to avoid, or just some snarkies. Snarkies aren't on the same level of toxics, but anyway, toxics. Actually, what I want to talk about today is social comparison, because this on the other days of the year isn't better, because social comparison is a straight road to unhappy. Straight road to unhappy. So you just got to stop it. Just say no. Stop the thought. Remember that 17 seconds thing. The more we brood up to 17 seconds, whatever, the more we're kind of running that negative dialogue through our heads, it's harder to get rid of. So 17 seconds, so nip it. Just stop. Picture a stop button that you're pushing, like a red stop button, or picture some kind of alarm, or whatever works for you. But here's the thing with social comparison during the holidays. It's amped up like times a gazillion. It's worse than on the average day. Why? Because family is marketed. Success in that certain definition of success, which is cars and square footage and outerwear and, nice, I guess hiking boots would qualify for outerwear. And then, of course, I'm in the north, so I think this way. But in all the other spots in the country and world where other things are, it's all marketed. And so it's in our face times a gazillion. So it's harder than the rest of the year to stay away from it. And it's so important. It's so important, and it's hard. And I remember, being a young mother and trying to scoot around all over the place, grabbing, Power Rangers. This is back in the day. That child is now 31 years old. I waited in a line for it wasn't a Christmas though, actually. It was to bribe him to up the aisle of his Uncle Kev's wedding, which actually worked. But I waited in a Burger King line for an hour and a half because he wanted those little ones, and it was in the Happy Meal. Anyway, same thing. Fast forward to the holidays. We just, because our kids just wrap their little hands around our hearts, and we want to be able to do everything for them. And, the reality is, even the best of parents aren't perfect. We're not going to be. So it's best to adjust the bar to do our best, because that's really what we can do. So the social comparison thing, and realize also where some of that comes from, because it is important. I was thinking of doing a separate video on this, but I think it kind of fits here. To make sure you're kind of aware of the shadows, because those of us who grew up in families that remember the whole range. There's flat out abusive trauma and everything on the far end. And then there's, the good enough family. It's important to realize no family's perfect. And Donald Winnicott was in the 50s. He talked about the good enough mother, which would be now the good enough parent, good enough family. Not perfect, but man, it really was okay. Got a lot of love, and you had most, hopefully everything you needed and a lot of what you wanted, that kind of thing. And then there's the whole middle. And it's very easy, as you know, my backstory, I grew up in a very addicted household with lots of mental illness, and there was not a ton of love there, in my opinion. And so I kind of, and a lot of shame. Anybody who comes from an addicted family, we breathe shame like you breathe oxygen. You don't have to have addiction to grow up in a shame-based household, though. So, and all of that's worked through, and there's forgiven, and go with God and all that stuff. It's just important to realize, I'm just saying this for you, thankfully that's not part of my deal anymore. It took a long time though. It really took a long time to really heal up from that. I'll be truthful. And I remember as a young mom, unconsciously trying to fill those holes with stuff. That fill the because I had all that shame-based stuff dynamic going on still when I was young with all 5 of them, but definitely with the first 2, I was really not even aware of it. Then I slowly became a little aware of it, but I still couldn't stop it. So anybody who's got shame-based dynamics going on, and of course, shame, remember, is about feelings of, it's not the same as guilt. Guilt says I made a mistake. Shame says I am the mistake, right? So shame is about feeling flawed and defective and not enough and all that. And I definitely had that going on. Definitely had that going on in my all through my 20s and into my 30s. I definitely had that going on. And so to be aware of where all the purchasing and keeping up drive is coming from. Now, granted, the media, even somebody without any of that going on, is the media just blasts us with everything all the bling bling. It's a shiny object season, right? But those of us who grew up with a lot of shame and were deprived, so shame-based and deprivation-based are very close together, but not exactly the same thing. So if you were sort of deprived of basic needs, that definitely will roll into your holiday purchasing more than likely. And also, well, love is a basic need too, but I was thinking, like, materially speaking, if you grew up, with any kind of, food insecurity, home insecurity, and materially insecurity, you're seeing kids in the class that, had nicer stuff and your family couldn't afford that stuff. That's going to roll in. And also, love-wise, I definitely, again, it's not with blame or anything. I'm past that. I'm just saying it for the purpose of sharing my story to help others become lighter, as that is my mission on this earth, is to spread positivity wherever I can and hopefully help people to see their own value. So that's why I'm saying it to you. And so my awareness being shame-based, and I was also very, 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 very deprivation-based. It was like a big just hole that I tried to fill up with especially at Christmas time, mostly for the kids, because I had it in my head, I'm definitely going to be that mother, and that I didn't have, and that kind of thing. And I just was like at it, and this is just important to be aware of that when we're comparing to other people, that none of it matters, none of it. And be aware of what your dynamics are. Like I said, shame and deprivation are really strong driving forces for overspending during the holidays, and because it's psychological, it's coming from a place of injury, it's coming from a place of woundedness, and to really wrap around that and realize that you are enough exactly how you are. You're doing the very best you can every day in every way, as a parent, as a sibling, as a partner, as a parent, or as an adult taking care of your own adults. As an employee, you're doing the very best you can every day in every way, and that is enough. That is enough. You don't have to, do all this external stuff to prove that you're a good person, good parent, good partner, good sibling. And it took me a long time to kind of come into that and heal. And I'll tell you, once that healing sort of happens, wow, I don't think there's a better feeling in this world than just being in your skin, feeling like you got the world by the ass, just so authentic and whole and complete. And it is a process. It's like anything else. It takes commitment, effort. You can't do what you don't know. My friend Dr. Dave says that a lot. You can't do what you don't know. And then once you become aware, you become responsible. And that doesn't mean just for other people and all things political and global. That's all true for that too. But it's also true for ourselves, and loving ourselves and accepting ourselves, and realizing what how those shadows play a role in our now current behavior. Shadows from the past. I can't show you right now because the sun's not against me, but I would do a little shadow thing. But to really, be aware of those shadows, so that you can then, once you become aware of it, that's like the biggest step. And then when you start to heal, you have this natural inclination to just go a different direction and not want to engage in any of that soul hole filling behavior, because when you feel whole and complete, you just don't even have the urge anymore. You don't have the itch to scratch, kind of thing. Okay, so social comparison, step out of the current, take a good look at your shadows, and that's it. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and anything else. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the super windy woods in northern Vermont at the Notch. Say hi, little G. Have a mindful day.